What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to look at injuries of the supraspinatus muscle. This is one of our 4 rotator cuff muscles. It's the one that most people tear, or they have things like tendonitis or tendinosis in it. So if you have pain kind of here on the top of the shoulder, it could go down the side of the arm, or if you had an MRI that says you have a tear in your supraspinatus or tendinosis/tendonitis, then stay tuned for today's video. Before getting into today's exercises, I just want to mention that my new book has programs for the 50 most common orthopedic conditions, and in the shoulder chapter, there is a rotator cuff program. So you'll see here the supraspinatus muscle runs here across the top of the shoulder and comes out on the side. This program, and we can see what tears will look like: full thickness, partial thickness, and tendinopathy. So this program is really going to take you through exercises that help you treat rotator cuff injuries on your own. The program's broken into 3 phases. It has pictures of me doing the exercises and instructions. Really, the programs in my book are more comprehensive, much more comprehensive than my YouTube channel. But the videos here the exercises here in this video you can try, but if you need something more comprehensive that you can have at home that covers the whole body, I will put the link for my book down in the description. So there are 4 rotator cuff muscles. Like I said before, supraspinatus is the one that most people tear. When you hear of people having a rotator cuff surgery or a rotator cuff reconstruction, it's usually the surgeon sewing their supraspinatus back together. In most cases, these tears are degenerative. They're not from an injury. They're just something that occurs as we age. Actually, if you look at the research, if you take 80-year-olds and do MRIs, 80% of them have supraspinatus tears. The really great news about these is that you can usually treat them. Most of them get better with rehab. So, especially if you have tendonitis or tendinosis, or you have a partial thickness tears, those are pretty much treated exclusively with rehab. If you have a full thickness tear, then you might need surgery. Maybe you have extreme pain or you can't lift your arm because of that tear, then you might need surgery. But in the vast majority of cases, they get better with rehab. So what we're going to look at is 4 exercises that you can use to gradually sort of put more challenge on the supraspinatus muscle, first looking at mobility and then building strength as we go through the exercises. As you move through these exercises, it's also important to try to modify or temporarily eliminate activities in your life that are triggering your shoulder pain. For supraspinatus, this is usually things overhead, so maybe overhead pressing if you're going to the gym, lat pull down. It could be throwing, overhead sports, racket sports, tennis, volleyball, things like that. So if you're doing those and you keep doing them, it will just keep it aggravated and make it more difficult to get better. So we usually have to temporarily kind of reduce how much we do those, maybe even eliminate them. So for the first exercise here, we are going to use a wall. We're going to do something called a wall crawl. In the beginning, people often can't lift their arm on their own because it hurts too much. So if that's the situation you're in, then you'll want to start with this one. Basically what you're going to do is work on range of motion and mobility using a wall to help assist. This helps to take stress off of the injured muscle and tendon. So what you're going to do is just stand facing a wall, put your arm against the wall, and then just crawl your arm up. So I'm just working on shoulder flexion mobility, basically my ability to reach overhead. When I put my hand on the wall, it takes some of the workload off of supraspinatus, off of that muscle and its tendon. So I'm going to do this 4 to 5 times a day and complete 10 repetitions or so of it. As your pain gets better and you go along, then you want to get to a point where you're testing just lifting your arm on its own. And so when you can get to the point where you can do full active range of motion like this, up to the front and out to the side, then you'll move to the next exercises in the video. Before I jump into the strengthening exercises, I just want to elaborate. So you've got the wall crawl, and then the second exercise is going to be active range of motion. It's kind of the second step in your rehab. So the wall is technically what we call active assisted range of motion. The next one here is going to be active range of motion, and our supraspinatus helps move our arm away from our side into abduction and flexion. So the second part of your rehab process is just lifting your arm on its own, lifting it without any help. So you're going to go really slow with these. The first one will be flexion. You're going to lead with your thumb up. Just reach up as high as you can. If you hit a point that hurts, then you can stop and go back down. As the area desensitizes, you'll be able to lift higher and higher, but you're basically trying to get through 180 degrees of range of motion and flexion, and then also with abduction going out to the side. So with these, just go really slow, and I would recommend doing, somewhere around 2 to 3 sets of 10 repetitions, sort of like a strengthening program. You can split them up throughout the day. You might just do 10 reps of abduction, maybe 10 sets of flexion, and then later in the day do another set of each, and maybe shoot for that 3 times in the day. Okay, so that's the second step in our progression. For our third exercise, we're gonna use a loop band. I will put a link down in the description if you wanna get a set of these. They're really useful for a lot of different exercises. For this one, we are going to incorporate some of our other rotator cuff muscles while we're reaching overhead. This often helps people, and so the band is gonna go around your wrists, and what you're gonna do is push out into the band. That's gonna activate our external rotators of our shoulder. They are 2 of our other rotator cuff muscles called infraspinatus and teres minor on the back side of the shoulder blade. So I'm gonna turn out, which will turn those on, and then I'm gonna hold that position and reach overhead. So I'm doing that same shoulder flexion from the last exercise, but now I'm doing it with resistance into external rotation. This is thought to help because our 4 rotator cuff muscles all blend together when they attach on the shoulder. So they have this continuous attachment into our joint capsule. And so when we strengthen the other rotator cuff muscles, it's thought to help the injured one. So if my supraspinatus has tendinosis or it's got a tear, then maybe strengthening infraspinatus and teres minor can actually help that supraspinatus tendon desensitize and heal. So this is technically kind of more of a strengthening one, so you're gonna do more of a strengthening sort of paradigm here. So what I want you to do is go for 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions, kind of reaching through that range of motion as far as you can go, and just try to keep that external rotation on the band and then reach up as you go. Okay, so that's our third exercise. We've got an isometric into external rotation combined with shoulder flexion. All right, here's our last exercise. This is going to be the toughest one for your supraspinatus, so just work up to this when you can do it with no more than mild pain. This is called the full can. It's actually, when we test people for supraspinatus injuries, we'll have them put their arm out like this and see if they can hold it, and if they can, then we'll push on it. There's also an empty can test where the thumb is down, but basically we're going to take that test position and make it an exercise. So you're gonna, you can start with just arm weight, but that'll probably be too easy if you're able to do the last couple of exercises. What you're gonna do in this one is take a dumbbell. I've got one here that's 7.5 pounds, somewhere probably between 2 to 10 pounds is probably gonna be best for most people. What you're gonna do is hold that dumbbell at your side. You're not gonna go straight up to the front or out to the side into abduction. You're gonna go into the scaption plane, which would be a V if we did it with both arms. So you're gonna go up to shoulder level with your elbow straight, thumb up in the air, leading with the thumb up, and then back down slowly. So we're gonna go to shoulder level. Supraspinatus is involved in stabilizing our shoulder joint, but it also helps lifting our arm out to the side. And this full can exercise is used a lot for supraspinatus rehab and strengthening. So again, this is a strength exercise, so we're gonna go for 3 sets of 10 repetitions, somewhere get to the point where you get tired, and you shouldn't have more than moderate discomfort with this, maybe no more than 3 or 4 out of 10. Okay, so that is our last exercise, the most challenging one for supraspinatus, the full can. Give these exercises a try. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section, and if you're looking for a more comprehensive program that'll walk you through rehab, please check out my book. The links are down in the description. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.